and start the meeting.
All right, we got
all right. So this is the show and tell section. So far, Thomas is has a show and tell, but doesn't want to go first. So Jim, you want to?
Yeah. Did you introduce the? I don't know how many people are on, but introduce the meeting to the Tri Club meeting.
Yes. Welcome to the Tri Club meeting from the from all three clubs, the RSSC, Riverside, and the Tech Room. Yeah. This is the joint meeting. Yeah. Hey, there's Buzz and Linda.
Yeah. Can you hear us?
Very low.
Can
you hear us?
Ooh, that's got some noise in it.
A little echoey.
A bit of a buzz there, but can you get it?
Yeah, there's something going on there. It's staticky.
Feeding back through your speaker.
Yeah, that's feedback. There's feedback going on.
Definitely feedback. Yeah.
It's a whistling, kind of a.
Okay.
Yeah, you might want to try to redo your audio or change microphone or something.
Maybe turn down your speakers.
We're not even hearing him talk. Hello, Buzz?
Okay, I think I have Zoom doubly enabled here. I got to get rid of one of them somehow.
Try to turn down your speaker.
You have two connections that can cause this. From a phone or whatever, but no, we'd see that on the. Yeah, Buzz is in twice. You are in twice.
Yeah, he is.
You got to cancel one of them.
I'm trying to get rid of
one of them's muted, but apparently that's not helping.
Switching over to my computer.
Looks like he's using the camera from one and the video from the other.
Yeah, maybe that's a weird problem case. Okay, he got muted and turned the camera off on one of them. All right, let's see what I'm gonna get ready here.
Okay, I got rid of the second process, so now I've just got one screen here.
Much better. All righty. So Jim, take it away.
All right. Let's see. I'm going to share. Now here's this thing: optimize screen sharing for video clip. That's an important one, right?
Yeah, and the audio. Don't forget that.
Hopefully that improves the the staggering or stuttering type video. So yeah, I'm gonna. So this is I produced this video just for this type of event and of my progress on my Big Orange version 2 Slam Tech powered HCR robot chassis from DF Robot, about a $530 chassis, and Slam Tech was $500, and anyway, there's a lot of money in this thing. But so without further ado, this video will explain everything. Tell me if there's a problem with it. So I'd like to present Big Orange version 2. I've added the 4th level and the tower that came with it, and added the Xbox 360 Kinect. Also, the a screen, a touch screen that I've added, and 3D printed a case for it, as well as a Wi-Fi antenna and a game controller receiver for the Xbox game controller. I also added a voltage divider circuit to measure the battery voltage and feed into SlamTech, which calculates the percentage of battery volume left. The main software is in Python and associated libraries for Google Assistant and text-to-speech. Thank you to Dr. Bruce for sharing his Hoot code. That helped me quite a bit. There are also a few Windows applications for the depth sensor data acquisition, as well as the 360 game controller manual control program. And now let's get to the demos.
I'm starting up. I'm now connected to SlamTech. Now loading the map. I'm connected to Google Assistant. Hello, my name is Orange. Pleased to be at your service.
Orange, go to dining area.
I'm going to the dining area.
This is a problem.
I hope a robot's incoming.
I've arrived.
Orange, go to office.
I'm going to the office. I've arrived.
Orange, who are you with?
You can find me on all kinds of devices, like phones and Google Home. Pretty sweet digs, if you ask me.
Orange, who are you with?
I'm with Jim.
Orange, status.
This is my current status. I'm at the office location. I'm with Jim. Battery is at 29%. And I'm feeling happy.
Orange, what is the weather forecast?
In Newport Beach today, it'll be partly cloudy, with a forecasted high of 68 and a low of 53.
So in this video I'm going to demonstrate the remote control capabilities of my big orange robot. I've installed a game receiver onto the Windows machine, and through the use of a Xbox 360 remote, I'm going to control the robot through a program I wrote that accesses the SlamTech API to move in a direction and at a speed. Here's a situation where I have the depth sensor Xbox on, and it is detecting the edge of a coffee table, whereas the LiDAR only detects the feet. So if I tell the robot to try to go here, which is, it is wide enough to fit there, it's not going to want to go because it's detected that there's the table in the way. However, if to prove that it's working, turn off the depth sensor data, and now if I tell it to go here, it will try, and we don't want it to do that, do we? Okay, let's kidnap the robot. Orange, where are you?
I'm at the office location.
No, you're not. Orange, recover localization.
I will search the whole map to locate myself. I appear to be at the dining area location.
This is the kill switch. Orange, go to office.
I'm going to the office. I didn't make it to the office.
Orange, go to office.
I'm going to the office.
Stop.
Okay. I didn't make it to the office. I am now near the dining area location.
Orange, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling happy.
For the next version, I'm going to add a charging station dock, which Slamtech supports, and there's a diagram on how to construct one, and this will be a infrared transmitter and receiver combo, as well as the connectors, of course, for the 12-volt supply. I hope to present that in my next video. Till then, thank you for watching. So, let's see, stop share. So the thank you. One additional thing is I think I'm gonna do the laser one, the docking station with just the LiDAR first, because it's a bit, I'm gonna experiment a bit with the IR stuff, but I don't know how to buy one of those little IR lenses. I couldn't find it online, at least not yet. And it seems like if anybody knows, I guess you could take apart an old vacuum, robot vacuum, and pull it off that, that was a scrapped vacuum or something. But that lens is kind of critical. There's two of them, one on the robot, one in that dock station. But anyway, apparently the LiDAR of that, this is all built into Slamtech. That top of that, the top of that web page showed a diagram of this square thing with holes in it.
And if I could figure out how to 3D print that, I'm gonna have to learn 360 Fusion now. Fusion, there's no way around it. So I have to bet I put it off long enough anyway. But if I build that thing with little holes in it and then just put it on some sort of, I have to raise it up to the height of the LiDAR, which is like, you can see it's 1.5 feet off the ground. Then when you tell the robot to go home, it uses the LiDAR already. The software's already there, and it just finds those holes and tries to go in there that way. Still have to figure out how to make contact with two probes or on the bottom, or I have never, that's going to be a challenge. Anyway, anybody who has ideas for me, but also any questions?
No, that looks great. My first question is, how did Orange know that you were there?
Oh, that's more of a parlor trick, or I don't know. It's not even a trick. That's more of a just part of the Dr. Bruce's kind of behavioral code, where you essentially at the beginning you say you can introduce yourself. Like my wife could come up to it and say, "This is Evie," and then from then on it will say, "Oh, I'm with Evie now." Whereas when it boots up, it just has me as the person it's with, assuming I'm the one that booted it up. But it's a little bit of a, I don't know, like trying to give it personality, I guess. But that wasn't my creation. That was Dr. Bruce. So yeah, you just say, "You're with me now." You're with Jim now. But that has to be in the code, though. I guess I could make it so it's like, if you say you're with Alan now, it'll just take out the part after the with, and then now it'll save your name. So
All right, gotcha.
Say, I would suggest for a charging station just to use an electromagnetic setup, like a transformer. Just have it pull in over a loop.
yeah. Yeah, something like that, where you have to install a like your cell phone charges on one of those little electromagnetic platforms or whatever, right?
Exactly, or something like Disney or California Adventure. They have a trolley that actually recharges over a coil.
Oh, that'd be
interesting.
great. Then I could mount that thing fairly easily on the bottom side of the metal, the last level, the bottom level, and I wouldn't have to make contact with like a Roomba does. That
You
might
can
be.
also just make a little kind of base where that has some magnets on it, and on the other side, like on the wall side, you would have something with like a spring holding up the cord, and with another magnet, and when as soon as the robot gets close to it, the magnets align and snap together.
Yeah.
And
Now,
then
is this on the bottom of it, or is this on the edge of the robot? Like the robot's coming.
It doesn't matter where. I mean, as long as the robot gets somewhat close to it, the magnets will attract each other and snap together. And then when it pulls away, the spring will pull it apart.
Right, and the contacts are on those. Those leads. Yeah, that sounds good. Because I'm going to experiment by building, 3D printing that thing first, and just see if I can get the robot to reliably go head first into the supposed docking station, and then add the power once that's done, obviously, because I need to make sure I can even get it to dock. But that's built in. When you say go home to the robot, it will go to where the dock is supposed to be and start circling automatically looking for it. It does that today. I mean, so that's built into Samtec. Anyway.
I still in storage have an RB5X, and the charging mechanism that used, there was a box that would be put on the floor with two horizontal brass strips in kind of an arc. The shape of the charger was in the shape of an arc, which would match the cylindrical shape of the robot itself. And the robot then had two vertical spring-loaded brass contacts. They were about a ½ inch in diameter and mounted in the robot body. And when the robot would roll up to the charger, those spring contacts, then the brass connectors would then press against those strips. And so there was some latitude left and right to be able to have the charger connect up to the robot. And by having the spring-loaded contacts in the robot itself, you would get a solid electrical contact that would then charge the batteries. So something of that sort you might consider at the actual charger itself if you're not going to use an induction kind of charger. So I thought I'd share that with you. And it worked very effectively on the RB5X robot, which was a cylinder on wheels, basically, trash can on wheels.
Yeah, if you ever have if you have a picture of that in the future or in the, yeah, if you could please share it at some point. That sounds, yeah. What that I emailed the DF robot people that I bought that chassis from, and they sent me a picture back of these little brass connectors with a spring, like a but I was trying to find those online. It was a little bit challenging, but it was from a Chinese, it's a Chinese company, and he was using a Chinese web page, and but they had a whole bunch of these little brass connectors with the, yeah, it seemed like brass with a little thing sticking down, like a male connector, and then it was on a spring. And that would have to stick down, probably, yeah, down. I would put that in the bottom, I suppose, and then, but yeah, the induction sounds like fun. Oh.
Hey, Jim, when the robot said that he failed to go to where you told him to, what made him say that, or what made him fail to go where he meant to go?
Well, I said stop one time, right? And that, and the other time I pressed the red button on the remote control, which can't essentially is the same as saying stop. And so you noticed on the first time when he actually got there, he said, "I arrived." And so when he stops moving, I get back either failed or success from the API. And if it's success, then he made it, and he says, "I made it," or I arrived. And if you, and this is done in a separate thread of execution, so that if the robot is stopped or gets an error of some kind, and then it'll come back to me with come back to the code as a failure. And so you just detect that failure, then you can say whatever you want. I just have, we say, "I didn't make it to the wherever I was supposed to be going." Does that make sense? But yeah, that's I have to really, give Slamtech some credit, because even though it's all in Chinese and you have to translate and all this stuff, there's a lot of stuff in there. You just keep digging and you keep finding more. I mean, the Connect thing, and then the charging base charger. It's just so much. It's even though it's got some challenges, and it's difficult maybe to find all the info. Also, I've been emailing their tech support, and I know the guy now. It's like I ask him questions at in the evening, which is the morning in China, and so I get back an answer like right away, pretty much. There seem to be good support, and then they help you figure it out. It's a lot of things anyway, not everything. And then it's just the right amount of, you have to figure this out yourself to make it just good enough to challenge you, but not give you and not give you everything already done. Because what fun would that be? You might as well just buy a robot. although he might have to spend a lot more than I did. But anyway, thank you.
Did you
All
see
right,
my
thanks,
note?
Jim.
Any other questions? And no other questions, then I'll give back the floor. I shouldn't. Okay.
My comments in the chat.
Yeah. So yeah, I see this comment. You can use a door plate from the hardware store to get material. They have brass ones. Then the easiest is to mount 2 strips, one above the other bot. One pair on the bot, one pair on the charger. A small speed bump on the charger platform at the correct distance would cause the bot to settle firmly against the strip. Sounds like pogo pins.
Well, the pogo pins comment was about what you were talking about, the spring points.
Oh yeah, yeah. I have a picture of that. I can. Well, I don't know if we need to show it now, but there's, yeah, these little brass things, and I looked up the words like spring connector, and something came up on one of our U.S.
You can buy those pogo pins in blocks that will connect easily, and they will take about a half an ounce per pin to compress them, and each pin will carry roughly 2 amps.
Oh.
So you can make blocks out of that if you wanted to do that on your charging platform, and then just have a plate for it to connect against. Now, 2 ounces doesn't sound like much, but it's basically on a point contact. So you need probably phosphor bronze or something like that that's pretty sturdy for it to press against. Otherwise, it'll pit and leave holes where it won't connect properly.
Oh, that's why they use the brass or bronze. Those connectors, because they're better conductors. Is that it?
They're good conductors, and they also, if you use strips, you don't have the point contact problem.
Oh, right. Okay, a strip on the bottom.
When you have the point come in, what you're going to have is you get a divot, more or less, that forms, and it leaves a ring around it.
Yep.
And then the pogo pin doesn't seat properly, and you don't get good contact. So if you work in industry, what they do is they have the copper plated material, and they etch it appropriately for the pattern they want, and then they lay nickel on top of it, and then they put the gold on top of that. And it has to be a very thin layer of gold. If the gold is too thick, it does the pitting. So it's critical to get it right, and it's kind of hard to do on a hobbyist platform because you don't typically have the plating control that you would have in industry, where you might pay $25,000 for a circuit board.
Yeah, this is a little hard in the hobby.
Yeah, the stuff I used to do, use one of the test heads I delivered had 4,500 pogo pins in it. So it was a very critical design. I managed to convince everybody to use the standards that I wanted, and we delivered it, and it worked on the first day. But it is very difficult to get it right.
Jim, I just posted in the chat box a URL showing an early version of the RB5X robot with its charger, and you can see the charging pins vertically on the robot itself near the bottom. So if you get a chance, take a look at that. It'll show you the configuration of both the charger and the charging pins in relation to the robot.
Oh, great. That's great. I see it. Well, I'm showing it right now.
Yeah. So one other comment about it, when these robots were built, those charging pins were actually mounted in the front of the robot where the sonar sensor is. So I used to have my robot in our kitchen, and I put the charger next to the sink, and I moved those charging pins from the front to the back of the robot so that the robot would snuggle up against the charger, and then the sonar in the front would monitor the area in front, the refrigerator and everything. And so when Linda, my sweetie, would go to the refrigerator in the wee hours of the morning, the robot would detect her, roll up to her, and say, "Hi, sweetie," and then roll back again. So anyway, the positioning of the charger pins you might want to consider to put on the back if you want to use the robot as a surveillance kind of device as well.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Depends on, yeah, the docking maneuver is kind of built in to the firmware, and I may not have control, so I have to see which way the robot goes in, if it backs in or goes forward, or if I have any control over that. But we'll.
Yeah, I programmed mine basically to back in to the charger, and also at the time it was using an infrared detector underneath the robot to track a tape on the floor. So that's how it navigated to the charger. Yours is more sophisticated. You would probably want to use some other methodology to get it within the proper area to the charger, and then fine-tune the actual docking of the robot to the charger.
Yeah, well, I mean, like I said, the slam. I was trying to explain that if I build, or if I 3D print this piece of plastic with these holes at this special distance, then the firmware is programmed to seep that thing when it's going home, so it'll go right up to it. But I have to. This will be interesting because I've never, I've never tried it obviously on this. The only video I found was of what looked like a Slamtech Roomba, or a Slamtech vacuum, and it was going up to its charger just like a Roomba, but mine is totally a different thing. So
Well, by the way, the navigational aspect of this, if the robot is on and monitoring its charger state, the battery level state,
yes,
the robot itself could then make sure if it loses contact, you basically have instructions to move back and snuggle against the charger. And if it then sort of wiggles itself away over a period of time and it shows no charging, you have it sort of home back in again. So it's sort of a loosely coupled kind of thing. But when the battery level gets up to its normal charged level, then you turn that charging system off essentially, and you just do your normal stuff. And whether it makes contact or not is unimportant at that stage.
yeah, that's another issue. Like another question I have, or that I don't quite know how to do, is the Slamtech system has a pin, or it has some inputs you could to tell the system the charge state, like whether it's charging or not charging. And but I haven't. I guess I just have this 12-volt battery, and it has an input from a 12-volt power supply to charge it, and so I'll have to figure out a way. I need to make a circuit that knows what that's knows whether the thing is charging or not, and then sets it, and then connects to Slamtech a pin that tells it that my software knows. But I don't know exactly how to do that. Like when I guess I could have to make a circuit that's seeing the voltage from the input lines. Maybe I guess that's.
Well, there's a lot of different circuitry you could use for chargers. There's lots of schematics online.
I have a charger. It's like one you plug in the wall, and that's, I guess, and that plugs into the battery in a special, it's an input plot. So input charge. Output from the battery is in a separate one. So I guess I could just check. I could pull some leads off of that wire going in and see if there's 12 volts or not. I assume that the voltage on those input lines are going to be 0 when nothing's connected.
Yeah, well, it drops. Yeah, there's no voltage essentially, and it is 0 if you don't have contact. And by the way, if you're going to use charging pins on the robot, such as either quarter inch diameter brass or or 1/2 inch or 3/8, whatever it is, those pins will be horizontal if you do it similar to the RB5X type of methodology. But the really important thing is those pins should be spring loaded. And the reason for that, obviously, is so that when the robot snuggles up to its charger, the spring loading will ensure that you have firm contact between the charging pins and the charging strip at the charger itself for both contacts. And that'll allow you to do the job that way. And if you already have a charger, you just simply need to connect your 12-volt leads to a couple of strips, and you could makeshift some kind of fixture to do that sort of thing. So that's one idea anyway that might solve your problem.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you very much. And maybe the pogo pins are part of the solution. All right. Well, I've taken up too much time here. Thank you. We'll go on to whoever to Thomas is next, I assume. Right?
Hey, everybody. Any other questions for Jim, or shall I move on?
Just a comment. Jim, you did a nice job. Thank you.
Yeah, Jim, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, a lot of progress. Very cool.
Thank you. Yes.
A lot of work, Jim. Looks good.
Thank you.
All right, guys. I guess I'm back. I can change my background, right? Let's change it up. There, you can see my house. Anyway, I just wanted to show you guys this thing I've been playing around with. It's called Bot Libra. And we've been talking about chat bots lately, and I've shared this with a couple of guys from the club. And I'm going to share my screen and just go through some of the features for you. It's free, it's open source, you can download it. Again, you can give your computer or your robot a personality. So let me share my screen. This is nothing I've built. I'm just coming in here without even logging in. So they all come with an animated character here, an avatar. And if you go over here to bots, you can have animated bots, apps, dating, education, and entertainment, Facebook, on and on. And these are the featured bots. And some of these are better than others. And some of these are rather risque. So I caution you to do these in any mixed company situations. But these are head and shoulders above Alice. And here's Alice over here. Can you all see my screen? Am I sharing my screen properly?
Yeah, yeah, we can see a whole bunch of characters.
So this is Alice. And Alice is what we've been playing with on the lessons I've been giving the last couple of months. Julie is over here, and Julie is head and shoulders above Alice. And you can program her differently here than you do the Alice bot. We'll just look at Julie for a while. And her avatar can sleep, wake up, dance, jump, and scream just by ordering her to do those things. I got to put in my birthday. I bet you didn't know I was that old.
You sure look good for having been born in 1911, I must say.
Yeah.
How are you today?
Can you hear that?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's It's good.
So it also has a microphone option here. I haven't ever tried it. And it looks like I'm not going to try it today, so we'll just leave that. What do you want to talk about?
How about we talk about movies? Have you seen any good ones lately?
I saw Terminator last night, and I did.
Would you like to play I Spy with me?
So that means she didn't understand my last sentence. She's trying to change the subject. Sure.
Would you like to spy or guess?
Spy. Guess? I don't know. Does anybody know how to play I Spy?
I spy with my little eye something that is green.
Is it a plant?
No. Guess again or type quit. Choose top.
Quit.
I was thinking of bush. Would you like to play again?
No.
Okay. Maybe some other time.
So that's kind of interesting. And we go back to their home page. And they have some deep learning here. And they have some natural language processing here. And image processing.
So Thomas, this Julie has a much more natural sound than Alice did.
That's just a voice you buy. This is the one they bought, and they're using it over the web. It's really just the voices you can buy. Let's see. There's some software you can do age detection, word recognition, games, cat breed classifier. Now this is a classic here. You need to know your cat breeds. Checkers, and here's checkers using TensorFlow. Face detection, flowers. You got to know your flowers, especially if you have a fembot that's a florist. Gender, it's going to classify your gender. Good luck with that. Hot dog or no hot dog. Did you ever really wonder whether you were looking at a hot dog or not? Well, this will tell you hot dog or no hot dog. I don't know what Inception version 3 means. And this is some sort of object detection. So this is a lot of things you can integrate into your chatbot here without leaving the Bot Libre website. Now, Bot Libre, again, it's open source. The source files are on GitHub. You can download the whole thing. You don't have to run it from their website. I'm trying to set up a web server on my local machine that'll run this so I can customize it. And it has scripts for various things. You can make an interview robot, a service bot. You can scrape HTML files. You can have farewells, wrong answers, weather, stop quotes. In other words, you can build into your chatbot some of the things that the avatar, Alexa and Siri and all those have on. Jokes, vision, date and time. Wolfram Alpha, are you familiar with that? People, mostly everybody is. That's an information website. If you can connect your robot to this site, your robot can be very smart. Colors, you want to know what your robot's colors can see. Ordering pizza, see that? You can do that. Emotions. This is AIML scripts. So this you can dump into any chatbot actually, and it works really well. And geo names, random responses, on and on and on. And there's the game it was trying to play with me, I Spy. And you got map commands, auto repair. How would you like your robot to help you with your car? Math, animals, tic-tac-toe, and also realty. There's something fun.
Hey, Thomas, are those all like sort of modules or plugins that can even be authored by anybody?
By anybody. You can dump, once you have the basic chatbot installed, and I believe some of these work with the AIML that we were studying last month. And some require other coding. I don't know which does which. I know that one that we looked at said it was AIML, so that's as far as I know. Now, this again has two ways of programming. One is through the AIML, which we all say is too cumbersome. It has too much baggage when you're trying to code a simple thing. Well, I want to show you one of their scripts that's really interesting here. Let me see if I can find it. Otherwise, we'll move on and I'll show you that next time around. Well, let's look at Julie here. Let's see if I can look into the code. I'm still learning this website, so pardon me if I'm not going straight where I need to go. Has anyone else tried this website? Shout in, just speak up.
Yeah, I've never even heard of this before. It's kind of cool.
It's fairly interesting. Okay, so nothing's there. So I'm going to go into the scripts. And Julie is here, Alice is here, and Julie is here. If I can find it. There she is. No, that's not what I was looking for. I was looking for her software. This gets me going around in circles. I really have to make a map of this place. Anyway, I'm not going to go any further because, like I said, I'm brand new at this website. I've created my own bot. I've customized it a little bit. And the bottom line is the way you code this thing. If I could, I'll tell you what, does anybody else have anything to show tonight? Tim? Anybody? Because if you give me a few minutes, I want to show you one of the scripts. That's not.
Hey, I do, Thomas.
Oh, Walter does. Hey. All right, well, I'm going to turn the floor over to Walter while I search for this. Okay? Walter, it's all yours.
Okay. Oh, man. Let me see if I find it. Hold on. I got to look for a quick video here that I did. Let me see if I see it. Oh, here we go. Okay, can I share my screen?
Yeah, you should be able to.
Okay. Let me try it. Share screen. There we go. Just a quick thing here. This is just a 3D, well, it's a Star Wars droid. You know, it's a remote control, but it's got some NeoPixels, some animatronics that I did. And some, you know, cool looking painting, and it's all remote control, and It's from the movie Star Wars. If you've seen Star Wars, you know what it is. But I added extra things that are not on the movie, like that detonator bomb on the top that goes up and down, and the front holo projector eye. It's also not part of the movie. Were you guys able to hear it?
No.
It's a little squeak.
Yeah.
I heard it.
A little bit of whistling, yeah.
Sorry, let me try it again. It's pretty quick. Sort of little sound effects. Anyways, I was just looking for something quick to do over the weekend, and I did it a few weeks ago. I forgot. Anyways.
Wow, you did that in just a weekend.
Well, you have to 3D print the part, yeah, but putting it together, yeah. But printing the parts, painting takes a little longer.
Oh, is the base an RC car?
It's an old RC car that I had laying around,
Nice.
1/10 scale. And the only thing that I did buy was the shell. You know, there's somebody that sells this vacuum form shells. So you buy the shell, and then you just add an old board and you paint it black and you put it in there. But I'm supposed to paint those screws. In the movie, you don't see any screws in Star Wars, by the way. I'm supposed to hide them. But yeah, it's pretty neat. Here's the mechanism. It's just like the holo projector. It's a couple of servos with some piano wires, and then some NeoPixels with the microbit controller to control the NeoPixels. It's just so simple to use the microbit to control things, you know, like lights and things like that. But anyways, that's all I got to show. Just something quick while Thomas gets back.
I'm still working on it.
Pretty nice.
Yeah.
Hey, Walter.
I'm looking for this.
When you first put it up, I thought that the little detonator thing was a R2 head, like a R2 type droid, and it looked almost like he was driving it. And and then it came up all the way, and I saw that it was a thermal detonator. But that was pretty cool.
That's right, thermal detonator. Yeah, thank you.
That's a mouse droid, isn't it?
It's a mouse droid. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
And yeah.
Printed an extra one from your IG-11, didn't you?
Yeah, I did a whole bunch of them. So.
Went crazy.
Went a little crazy on the Star Wars thing.
That one's a good addition. That's a famous. What's the name of that guy?
It's an MSC. It's a little mouse droid.
Mouse droid, yeah.
Yeah.
It was very featured in the first Star Wars movie. It was, I think, right?
It was. Yeah, it was.
Running around Death Star.
Yeah, let me show you one more thing real quick while I guess Thomas gets ready. This is the new Baby Yoda animatronic, and it's really nice actually. You can see some of the features are incredible. Like when it goes to sleep, it's got a little tilt sensor inside, so when you put him to sleep, when you lay him at a specific point, so he goes to sleep and snores. I just 3D printed a little pod for him. Yeah, there's quite a lot. This guy too, the anime.
Yeah, I broke down, bought one for myself too.
Yeah, they did a good job. Hasbro did a great job with that little guy. So yeah, it just has a little sensor on the top. It's not even a switch. I forget what it is. It just senses when you touch it, and then if you do it 3 times, he'll he'll raise his arm. If you do it once, he'll do all this random 23 different motions that it's got. But the next step is add some wheels on the bottom and make him drive around. You know, kind of like he's walking. So do a little mod on it. That's it. There's a whole bunch of stuff that I'm doing, but they're just like that Star Wars 3D printed stuff.
Oh, that's good. You're printing again. You were taking a little break for a while.
Yeah, I got my printers going again. Yep.
Unfortunately, my printer's down.
Took a break.
Yeah, I mean, when you print, it's like reels and reels per week. I mean, it seems like
3 or 4 3D printers 24/7 for 8 months one time.
Yeah, I don't know how you kept them all going. Like you have to wake up in the middle of the night, or I don't know.
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, to like feed the printer. You almost
Yeah.
could.
Some have sensors, so it senses when it runs out of material. Then you just put the new roll when you come back from work or whatever. And
yeah, that. But like if it finishes, you have. Well, if it finishes, you have to scrape it off and then put a new thing in. And
yeah, exactly. Clean it up. Sometimes you have to re-level the bed, and there's a whole bunch of, and each printer has its own little settings that you have to deal with, and yeah, it was a lot. But took a long break, and now I'm back at it. So.
And now my printer is not going. It's not feeding the filament in right or something. Yeah. So far, all I've tried is not working.
You weren't able to clean the.
Yes, that wasn't a problem, Les.
Oh, okay.
What it's doing is I can manually, like I said before, I can manually feed it in at the, set the hot end at the temperature it normally would go at. Manually feed it in, go through, run the little thing through. It's not jammed or anything. And then a couple times I got it to go through the load sequence, and then when I actually started printing, nothing came out. And then now I've been having a problem where, hold on a second here, or it's been balling up at the end, like this. I don't know if you can see it or not, like that. So I can't get it back out through the tube when it tell it to extract. It's got this ball in the end. I don't know what's causing. I don't know what's causing this right here.
Maybe your fan has died in the print head.
Well, I've got 2 fans.
Yeah, there's one that goes all the time.
Yeah.
Well, there's one on the front that goes all the time. There's one on the side. The one on the side hardly ever works.
Well, the one on the side is driven by your software.
I've got one on the front going all the time. Yeah.
It's running okay?
As far as I can tell, unless it's dirty or something, I haven't taken it apart to clean it or something. Maybe I should do that.
Yeah, I told him to check the settings, make sure he doesn't have ABS selected, because ABS will turn the fan off after the first layer.
Oh wow, yeah.
I checked it. It wasn't set. It was set for PL. It was set for the
PLA.
PLA. So yeah, it wasn't that. I checked the settings. I can't see anything wrong with what I did. I was able to print out one of these guys, and then fossil fish,
yep.
And it printed out fine. And then when I switched filaments to go on, I wanted to print out some replacement parts for my Baby Yoda character. By the way, in episode 5 of the Mandalorian thing, we finally find out what the name of the character is, but I won't tell you yet because Walter hasn't seen it yet. But they actually find out if Baby Yoda's name. Anyway, yeah, I just don't know what's going on.
Okay, so there are, of course, Tim, there's a whole bunch of things that it could be. So another guess could be, you mentioned that you printed something successfully, but then after you swapped your filament, the next print didn't go so well.
Yeah.
At what temperature are you swapping the filament at? Are you turning the hot end down to like 60 Celsius before you swap filaments?
I don't know about swapping filaments when it does. I don't know what temperature. I think it goes down to 205 when it unloads and loads a filament, according to the settings on the computer on the control panel.
Okay, so yeah, you loaded up a different filament, and then after your fossil fish, the print after that didn't work, right?
Yeah, it like started to print a little bit, and then the filament got, little, and then none at all coming out.
So it's most like if you're doing a filament swap, meaning the operation of taking the old filament out and putting your new filament in. If you're doing that at temperature, you're actually pulling strands of filament back up through with you, and that'll actually cause a jam for the next filament you put in. In case this is part of the issue, whenever I swap a filament out for PLA, I think I swap them out at like 60 Celsius. So they're a little teeny bit soft, but not gooey enough to string.
Well, again, on the reel of the filament, the low temperature side is from 215 to 230.
Yes.
So if I go anything lower than that, I won't be able to do anything. I don't think.
Right. It's not for printing, but specifically there's a sweet spot for a temperature that you want the filament to be at. Well, when you pull it out, because if you pull it out and it's too hot, it'll string, and that string will jam your next filament that you put in for your next print.
Yep.
Well, I mean, I have no control over when I tell it to unload, it unloads the filament and it'll drop it down to like 100. I forget what it drops it down to, but it drops it down to a temperature. It's automatically drops it down. Normally, I could pull, when it's going backwards, and I can be able to pull it out. But the last couple of times, it balled up on the end. So.
Okay, and you know what? Someone else had mentioned I might have the temperatures wrong, the hot plate versus that, but you definitely want to do the filament swap at a lower temperature than you do for printing. That might be what's going on.
The problem is, Alan, even if I manually set that temperature and then go to the thing and tell it to unload it, it'll raise the temperature up to what it's set to for it to unload it with. I can't tell it to stop, or I can't change it. It'll automatic. In other words, if I say I set it at 6 degrees, okay, fine. Then I go in there and unload. It'll raise the temperature up to 100 or 200 degrees, and then back it out.
Oh
so
gosh, yeah, 200 would be way too high.
Well, no, I don't remember. I don't think it's that high, but I'm just saying that for example. I can't change when I tell it to unload, it'll raise the hot end temperature to its temperature to unload it, then unload it. I'm saying even when I do that, it's been balling up at the end to the point where gets to a certain point and I can't do anything. It gets to a certain point and it stops, and then when I try to pull it out, I can't. I have to basically pop the feed tube off both ends to be able to pull it out, and it's balled up in that one end.
Oh gosh, that's not good.
That may be that your tube may not be inserted fully into the hot end.
It could be. I don't know. I push it down as the quick connects on it. I push it down as far as I can. Now I did get some replacement tubing for that thing. Maybe I should cut out a piece at the right length and replace it and see what happens.
That should be a good idea, I think, because if it's falling up at the end, that's usually there's space between the end of the tubing and the hot end. And when you get you have to make sure you clean that hot end out.
It could be that I don't have it pushed down far enough. Something I could check.
Yeah, make sure you clean the hot end before you do that, before you change the tubing, because it may have plastic buried in there already. But
I'm not sure how to clean the hot end on the thing, but I'll take a look at it when I pull it apart.
You can take the hot end loose from the mounting and take it out of the housing, and then you run it up to the printing temperature and just let it set for a little bit, and anything that's in there will run down and run out the hot end.
I have never really taken the nozzle off at all, but okay, I can try that.
Yeah, that's what I did. You just cleaned it out, and what I did also was I took the nozzle off. So when I did that, there was nothing there to restrict the flow, so it would just empty out the whole hot end, and then I cleaned it out with a rag before I put something else into it. It just takes a little while, and it's hot, so you have to use a pair of pliers or something to hold it while you do that.
The hot end can also get carbonized inside, so it might be starting to get clogged up, and that might be backing up your filament.
I had a similar problem where I was getting a balled up thing and had to and this is on the Prusa, and they recommended unscrew the fan. That there's the hot end fan that a lot of printers have. I guess I assume most. You take that off and bring it up to temperature, and it's so hot that then it's hotter than it's supposed to be, and then you can get rid of the jam. But I noticed I was getting more jams when I had the fan, something wrong with the fan, like it was backwards, or I don't know, it was drawing in air instead of pushing. It's kind of weird.
Well, I mean, it's been working fine, and I haven't cleaned the fans in a while. That's something I could check.
You might want to check the fan, because the fan was related to my jams.
Well, I mean, Les was saying that I might not have the tube pushed down again, and I might not have it pushed down all the way. I thought it was down all the way because I got the little quick release thing and I pushed it down as far as I could. I may not have pushed it down far enough. I'll have to try that again here. I think what I can do, because I had to cut back the original tube a little bit because it burned and jammed and collapsed. I bought up some replacement tubing. I haven't had time to swap it out or cut up another new piece. I probably should do that.
But yeah, even on my Prusa, it's like when you click the load, or when you tell it to preheat, it preheats to the full temperature. It doesn't like
the temperature when it unloads and loads is not full heat. I don't remember what it is exactly, but
yeah, I don't. You know what I do generally is, as it's heating up, before it gets to the full temperature, I do unload, like you know, in Alan's recommendation. Wait till it gets about 170, 180 degrees C, and then unload quick before it gets too hot. Or you can just set it manually to 180.
Well, hold on. I've just turned the printer on here. Let me look a second here.
Seems like the firmware of a lot of these printers don't account for the correct temperature.
Well, when you tell it to unload, let me see what it. Whoops. It sets the temperature when it unloads to 205.
Yeah, that's a bit high.
Well, it's built into the firmware. There's no way to change it that I know of.
Right? Is Alan still on?
Yeah, the one thing that I don't have a lot of experience is the automatic unload reload stuff. I do mine manually. So like just historically what works on mine is I'll set it to, and I'm sorry, I can't remember. It's been too long since I printed last. Somewhere between 140 and 170 for PLA. So it's not printable, but it'll be soft. And then
you just manually pull it out.
Quickly take it out. Yeah, and there's no strings. It comes across with a kind of a flat bottom, and you know you've done it right. Because if you're doing like an automatic unload reload, then you're limited to the speed of the unload reload. And I can just picture all these scenarios where it's going to pull the filament out and then it strains.
Yeah.
Well, it hasn't done that, but again, it sets the temperature for load and unload at 205. And then what I do, I try to, when I actually print, I try to print in the middle of what it says for PLA or close to the maximum, depending on what the room temperature is at the time. But right now it's trying to heat up to 200. It's going up to 205.
You know, they may have tested that with your printer and determined that was valid.
Walter's printer is the same as mine printer. It's the same control box. I don't know if he's had that problem or not. But yeah, except his best. Go ahead.
I've rarely had a stringy. I mean, I was having some of those jam problems, but that was, I think I reversed the fan or I did something. But after that, I've been using the unload mechanism. It's mine. It's very quick. It just goes like at full speed. It does the servos at really fast, and but it's up to you to get the temperature to what you want it to be.
Well, I try to raise the Z-axis up so it's up a bit, not like flat on the bed there, and then adjust it, unload and load it, and make sure it's squirting out filament, and it is. But there's sometimes what I don't get is where I get it going, get filament going through, load it, loads fine, whatever, and then when I go to print it, it goes through a little bit, or it doesn't lay anything down at all. So I don't know what changed.
Is your first layer really tight? Because if you're dragging your hot end, it's not going to allow the filament to flow out.
Well, I mean, it goes down to the bed, and when it starts to print it, and then prints a line up, comes back down, and goes to the position where it's going to actually print on the thing. So it's laying down like a little test bead.
Is that test bead like really, really flat, like almost transparent?
Not necessarily. It's sometimes a couple times it was. Most of the time it's just a bead of filament. So
Because that'll keep your filament from coming out if your hot end is too close to the bed. It's not There's not enough space for the filament to flow out, so it just bunches up. There's nowhere for the filament to go.
Let me see something here.
When you level your bed, give it a little more space.
Okay,
all
right.
The first layer is not completely flat.
It could be. I could be squishing it too much, is what you're saying. All right. Well, I'll try some stuff here, guys. The one fan's going all the time. The other one on the side's not going at all. I got two fans on mine.
For my printer, it helps to run nylon through it. And then retract it at 140 Celsius.
Okay.
That makes it kind of like what Alan was saying. It's a little malleable, and it picks up any carbon or dirt in there with it as you pull it out, and it kind of stretches. That helps clean the nozzle. The other issue could be the new filament is too big. I have that problem.
Well, it's 1.75 millimeter filament, which is for my 0.4 millimeter nozzle is okay.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Hey, I'm ready to continue if it's okay. Tim.
Go ahead.
Are you still going, or can I go?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you, Walt.
No, this is Thomas.
Thomas, what's going on?
Are you finished, or can I go?
You can go. Go ahead. We're just killing time.
All right. Well, I'm gonna wrap this up pretty quick since we wanted to be out of here by 7:30. Right, guys? So here's a few more things. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
All right. So this is the admin console. You can select your users, your avatars, and they have a variety of avatars if you want to stay online. The voice, you can choose from a number of different voices for your robot. Learning settings, scripts, you can add your script to Twitter and WhatsApp and Facebook and all these other applications, Skype, WeChat, Kik, email. Your bot can manage your email account. It can receive and send emails. Kind of interesting, huh? You can access, of course, Wolfram Alpha and Alexa. You can connect your chat bot to Alexa. Google Assistant, IRC. Well, who uses IRC anymore? Et cetera, et cetera. It's kind of interesting.
I can't hear him. I'm on a Zoom meeting. What did you say? What did you want?
Who are you talking to, Tim?
Alan, can you mute Tim's mic?
Yes, sir.
And another thing is the learnings and settings features for each of the chatbots you create. You can choose your natural language processing. And I don't know the difference between these. You can choose your language. For those of you who speak other languages than English, here's where you would do that. You can have your robot learn. You can set all sorts of other things. You can have emotions. You can enable emotions. Right, Jim? You want to do that. You want to have your robot being emotional, right? Just like Leap. Leap had emotions. and all sorts of fun stuff. Oh, you can enable consciousness. I don't know what that means, but isn't that wonderful? You just click a little checkbox and you enable consciousness. Whoa, where have we come?
Don't click that. That's cybernetics.
Oh God, that could start off, you know.
You just saw the movie.
Cybernetic systems, yes.
Cybernetic systems.
Yes. They can learn grammar and more. This is what they call their self-scripting language. It's called self. It's like JavaScript, for those of you who know JavaScript. And here's some of the syntax. These are your data types and your variables and your operators, if, for, while, do, kind of familiar. And more details. Now, here's my favorite, chatbot wars. And we're going to run one of these just to end off my show and tell tonight. And we're going to take Cassia against, let's see, who are we going to run her against?
Einstein.
I was thinking Eliza, but if you want to go for Einstein, we can go for Einstein. Well, Einstein's been losing a lot. I don't know. Fine, Einstein. And what's the topic? Give me a topic. Anybody? Robot. What?
Sure, robots.
And we'll start the battle. Oh, wait a second. We can't do French. Let's not choose Cassia. Let's choose somebody else. Einstein versus Eliza. Now, of course, Eliza is going to try to analyze Einstein. Let's see how that goes.
How long have you been about emulating the personality of Albert Einstein? Tell me more about that. Do you enjoy being about emulating the personality of Albert Einstein? Tell me more about that. Is it because you are about emulating the personality of Albert Einstein that you came to? I am not sure I understand you fully.
We're coming to the limit of Eliza's.
Tell me more about that.
Yes, tell her more about that. Okay, who won? I'd say Einstein won.
Yeah.
Let's do one more with something a little bit more interesting.
This bot Libra really does it's got a lot of stuff going on.
I don't know what this one is.
A good
Apis?
find you found.
Yeah. Okay, we try these two. No, that's probably not going to work. Let's try again. I don't know, the two that I had the other day are not here. I guess this is fairly fluid.
What's the Charlie Chaplin looking one?
Charlie Chaplin? Boat truck. Butt rock. And we'll choose.
Thomas, this is a program running online, or do you download it to your computer?
Either. I'm running it off their website.
Oh, so you're running it online.
I am.
Can you download it into your computer?
Yes, you can.
And what does it cost?
Nothing.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, we'll pick this one just because, well, just because.
Do you think, do you know, or do you suspect these are created by users, these different, because this is a lot of content for the company, or looks like.
From the name, it looks like it's an open source project, Bot Libre.
Yeah,
it looks like these are contributions, so people can contribute their own personalities.
Yeah.
Or their own bots.
Yes, they can.
So you could put your bot up there. There could be Walter could make a bot for his Star Wars bot, and we could have a Star Trek bot and put them against each other.
We could.
There you go.
Well, I'm finding out that a lot of these are not working. We're gonna try one. If not, we're just gonna end the meeting here, guys.
Makes sense if they're user contributed. There may be some less than fully functional.
Yeah, we're coming up at to 7:30.
All right. Well, this is the last thing. If this don't work, we're gonna move on. Forget it. Memory size exceeded. We're done. That's it, guys. That's my demonstration for today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Thomas.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah, great as always.
I'm gonna check out that bot Libra. That looks, especially if you can still intercept. Or do you know offhand? Can you do the speech to text and then take the text that you want, like for a robot command, and then send the rest to the AI engine, or maybe?
Don't know, Jim.
Yeah, I'll have to look into that. That's the important thing. If you want to control a robot, you got to sort of filter out your own commands before you send it to the AI, right? Anyway.
Okay. Thanks, guys. Another good meeting.
All right.
So to wrap it up, we had an administrative meeting before this meeting started, and we went with each club is going to host each month. So this month, the RSSC hosted it. Next month, Riverside is going to host it. And since Forrest wasn't in the meeting, we nominated him to do the January meeting. So whoever is running the meeting decides what's going to be the structure of it, so they can incorporate parts of their usual meeting into the Zoom meeting, and do the best you can to keep it at hour and a half. So let's try not to go beyond 7:30. Okay, so that pretty much it. Have a safe rest of the long week.
So Ben, who's doing the Riverside? Is it Alan or Thomas?
Whichever one.
Yep.
Let them fight it out.
Alan, I have a request.
Yes, sir.
If you could please monitor this first meeting and So that way, since I'm giving the lecture.
Oh, that's
Sure.
right.
All right, divide and conquer. Sounds like a plan.
Look, they've got a functional group, very functional.
Teamwork.
We can only dream, you and we can only dream of that kind of collaboration. But we have to work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
All right. So everything good?
Yeah.
All right. Well, nice presentations.
Thumbs up from Forrest before we end. Forrest did connect.
Oh, he's back.
Forrest is here. I see.
Yes, I'm here.
There he is.
So enthusiastic too.
Yeah.
Well, I have to be very limited when you're on your phone, so I'm that's why you haven't seen me for a while.
Oh, because of the data.
Yeah, it just burns up your battery, and you don't like to have a hand warmer unless it's on a cold day. So
cold where I am.
So Forrest, you were elected to run the January meeting. Did you understand that?
Well, say what, Thomas? I'm having trouble hearing you.
You were elected.
Try the chat.
Yeah, we
No,
can
I-
also follow up with him offline, Thomas, if he's having a hard time hearing, for sure.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. I heard you perfectly.
Yeah, we're hosting it for December, and then you guys get to host it in January, and then the RSSC gets it back in February. We're gonna rotate like that first.
Oh, and another thing, since next month is a shorter month, there's only going to be the one meeting because the second meeting would fall right on the 25th.
Wow.
There's only going to be the first meeting.
So I guess how would you want to do the January then?
Well, the January will be all the same way. The second Friday is on the 8th, and the next Friday is on the 22nd. So you're good. You can do the 8th and the 22nd Fridays.
Yeah, I think one of the things that also came up was that it's up to you. It's a good idea. It's great to get a flavor of what some of the other clubs do. That's why we're suggesting it. We just so happen to have one meeting next month because of the holidays, and then for January, if you have the content and want to run 2 full meetings in January, that's great. You know, if you want to have one lecture and one show and tell, that's up to you and your folks.
All right. Well, I will do what I can do on that one. The only thing the mechanics on how you guys do you're shifting off of screen sharing. I may need a little brush up on that maybe. So that's nothing major, but you know.
Sure, we can have a practice session or 2, whatever you need, man. We'll make sure you're set.
All right.
Yeah, just join a little early, like well, we start at 5:45 for the business meeting, and administrative tribute, whatever, and debugging connection.
Okay, well, I'll have more questions offline to ask, and I'll probably route them through Thomas or Alan.
Sure.
Yeah.
There's an email chain with the whole thing on there. You can use that.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll do that. And for the case of brevity, yeah, we'll go that route.
Awesome.
All right. Looking forward to it.
All right.
Okay, guys.
All right.
Stay safe.
Thank you.
See you guys next time.
Take care, gentlemen.
Thank you, Ben, and all the co-moderators tonight, as well as the show and tell presenters. Enjoyed it.
Yeah.